Well, hello. My name is Tanya Breland, and I am your Make It Happen mentor. And I am so excited to be a part of this Power Networking Conference. I would love to be able to share some information with you today. And that information is entitled Fight to Make It Happen. And I'm going to share 6 power principles to help you fulfill your purpose and live your dreams. And let me tell you, these principles are powerful principles. They really do work. And I'm going to share some experiences and some stories with you so that you can hear for yourself exactly how you can implement them in your own life. Before we get started, I want you to download the handout that I have for you. You can actually open up a new window on your computer screen and you can type in bit.ly/MIH download. And MIH stands for Make It Happen. That's bit.ly/MIH download. And while you're doing that, you can also tweet me, and I would love to interact with you on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @TanyaD.Breland, and we're using the hashtag Fight to Make It Happen. Go ahead and download that now. Again, that's bit.ly/MIH download, and it is case sensitive. And you can follow along and take notes as you please. So 5 years ago, I started my own business, and I was very excited to start my own business. At that time, I had been working as an elementary school principal where I had the pleasure of turning my school around, but I was excited because there were some things that I wanted to do in my life and I wanted to step out and be an entrepreneur. And so I left my position as a principal and I started my business 5 years ago, and not even a year into it, I was in trouble. My business was in trouble. I was failing. My business was failing and I didn't know what I was going to do. My house was in foreclosure. I'll never forget that evening. I was sitting by the side of my bed. My husband was sitting there with me, and the bank notice was sitting on the bed telling me that my house was in foreclosure. I felt like I had failed my family. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was in such desperation and I was crying. It seemed like hours, but it really was just a few minutes. And my husband rubbed me on my back and he said, "Honey, you have to look at what's in your faith, not what's in your face." You see, at that moment, I was in the midst of my own storm. And I didn't know exactly how I was going to handle that storm. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I had to look at what was in my faith. And what was in my faith was a thriving, succeeding business. What was in my face was that foreclosure notice. And so I had to put into practice some principles that I had lived with many, many years and implemented to do a whole lot of things. And I had to put those principles into place. And that's what I did as soon as he told me to do that. And here's the thing. I used to tell other people to look at what's in their faith. But I had that opportunity to do that. So I put those principles into place. And let me tell you, they really do work. Those principles have helped me in the past accomplish a number of things, including getting clarity on my purpose. My purpose is to make a difference one person at a time. These principles also help me to get unstuck. Even in that moment, I knew there were some things that I had to do. I had to exercise what I already knew was inside of me. And I was able to overcome obstacles and challenges, and I saw a lot of successes, both personally and professionally, all because of these power principles that I'm getting ready to share with you. Not only have they helped me with the things I just mentioned, but they helped me when I was a school principal, turn the school around and remove them from the state's list of schools in need of improvement. That was a huge, huge success. I had an opportunity to write and publish a children's book, a motivational book, in fact, with the title that we're talking about today, Fight to Make It Happen, 6 Power Principles to Fulfilling Your Purpose and Living Your Dreams. I used it to become an entrepreneur, and I've even used these principles to help other people, including one very special young woman that I know, who I had the privilege of being able to mentor. You see, by all accounts, she should have been a statistic. She was an 8th grade dropout. and she had a lot of challenges in her life, including being abused as a young girl. But let me tell you, I had an opportunity to pour into her life and share the principles that have helped me be successful. And her story has completely turned around. She's earned multiple degrees. She's working for a pharmaceutical company, earning 6 figures, and she's on her way to medical school. So when I say these principles work, they really, really work. So I want you to imagine your ideal life. Go ahead. Think about what it is that you would love to do. If you could really do that one thing that God has placed you on this earth to do. See, I believe that everybody has a purpose. I call that your why, your mission. We all have a mission in this life. I mentioned that my mission and my purpose is to make a difference in the lives of others. What's your mission? What would it be like if you got to live the life that you dreamed of living? Can you see yourself excited to wake up every single morning, never upset, because you know that you are doing what you are destined and called to do? Well, that's what happens when people are living with purpose. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission because I want to empower you to reinvent your life. I want to empower you to live your life with purpose, to maximize your capital. And what I'm talking about there is, I'm talking about those things that are unique to just you. The things that, like your gifts and your talents and your abilities and your aptitude and your skills, all the things that make you different and unique from anybody else. That's what I want to help you with. I want to help you identify your values and absolutely reach your goals. And so I would love to be able to give something away to you. And so I want to help you on your journey towards finding your purpose. So you can take out your cell phone right now and you can text the word purpose to the number 27126. And I have a free gift for you. In fact, I have multiple free gifts for you. Just by texting the word purpose to 27126, you'll be able to start your journey towards living a life of purpose, towards understanding what your purpose is, so that you're living a mission-filled life. Just text purpose on your cell phone to 27126, and you'll be placed on my mailing list, and I can't wait to share some very special gifts just for you. Let's talk about these principles that I've been sharing with you. You see this picture? That's me when I was 6 years old. The first principle I want to talk to you about is the principle to dream. Now, you might be saying, okay, yeah, dream, what's such a big deal about dreaming? Well, here's the thing. This is a part of how you can make things happen in your life. And you see, the thing about dreaming is, dreaming should be tied into our purpose. It's kind of like what I call the how to our purpose. It opens the window to what our purpose is. When we have a dream and we're following our dream, we're able to fulfill those things that God placed us on this earth to do. When I was 6 years old, I discovered my first dream. I was in the classroom as a first grader in Mrs. Betty Clark's classroom. And let me tell you, she was a wonderful teacher, a very special teacher, so much so that she took me under her wing. But I think it's because she saw something in me, a little vulnerability. You see, that was a very tough year for me. That year, my parents had divorced. And I was now living with my father and my stepmother, and things that I had known before were no more. And it was a really challenging year. And so she saw something really special in me, and she took me under her wing, even invited me home one day to have dinner with her family. Who does that? Mrs. Clark. She did that. And let me tell you, her taking me home made a difference for me because I never forgot it. And that was over 4 decades ago. I even had the privilege of being able to call Mrs. Clark to thank her just last year. And it was hard trying to find her because I didn't know exactly where to look, but I found her. And she remembered me after all of those years, and she remembered that there was something special about me. And let me tell you, when you're looking to create a dream, sometimes you have mentors, like Mrs. Clark was my very first mentor. She made me dream of becoming a teacher, just like her. I wanted to be just like Mrs. Clark. But what I later discovered, which was even bigger than that, my purpose was also found in Mrs. Clark. Because here's the thing. What I really wanted, on top of being a teacher, I really wanted to make a difference for others like Mrs. Clark had made for me. And so I was able to put it on the screen. I call it, my husband's aunt would say, put things on the screen. And what she meant by that was put it on your visual screen. You've got to visualize what it is that you want to do. And of course, as a little girl, it was easy to visualize being a school teacher. I'd play school with my siblings, my dolls. It didn't matter. Everybody had to be in my classroom. But it was the beginning of me figuring out who I was and why I was placed here on this earth. What do you have on your screen? What is it that you have been dreaming to do? You may even have to ask yourself a couple of tough questions. One question is, if money were no object, what would I be doing? Or what about this question? If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do differently? See, when you ask yourself those questions, your mind goes to work to figure out the answers. That's what's so powerful about them. It allows you to begin to dream, to figure out what you're supposed to do with your life. Because you're here for a purpose and a reason, and your dream is how you get there. Let's move on to the second principle, which is a principle that's very near and dear to my heart. It's the principle to have faith. You see, when I was sitting on the side of the bed, upset about losing my business, losing my home, which, by the way, I did not lose either of them, thank God, I had to implement this particular principle first. When my husband said, look at what's in your faith, what he was talking about is think about what it is that you believe. What is your mindset centered around this business? Do you see your business as a thriving business? And when I started looking at what was in my faith, I was able to tap into my beliefs and my mindset about what I was capable of being able to do and become. And then I went to work to do it. I couldn't say I can't. In fact, when I was growing up, my grandfather used to say, he would get angry with the grandchildren if we ever used the word I can't. He understood what was happening to your belief system when you said the words I can't. And so he would get upset with us because he knew that if we say I can't, then we won't. If we say I can't, we close off the possibilities. It means that we don't believe that we can accomplish something, but I believe. I believe I can accomplish anything. You have to believe that you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. And not only just believe, but you've got to put action with that belief. Because a lack of action basically shows that you don't believe that you can accomplish what you say you want to accomplish. But when you believe it, that's powerful. Because then you're going to do the work to show others and yourself that you really believe it. There's a scripture that says faith without works is dead. And so you've got to put your faith, which is your action, the steps that you take each and every day to make things happen in your life. And you've got to believe that you can accomplish them. Sometimes you might be afraid and you may have fear. A lot of people have fear. I've had fear. But even if you have fear, you've got to combat that fear. Think about what fear really is. Some people say it's false evidence appearing real. Other people call fear fantasized experiences appearing real. But you don't have to allow those things to stop you from reaching your dreams if you can believe that you can accomplish it. You have to replace fear, replace that negativity with something positive. Positive thoughts. Some people use affirmations, and they repeat those affirmations on a daily basis as though they already have accomplished what they say that they want to accomplish. What are you going to do about your belief system? Let's move on to the third power principle. And this one is really good. I talked about Mrs. Clark, and I really want you to understand the importance of strong relationships and building strong relationships. Who are the people that are in your circle? Are they people that are helping you or people that are hindering you? Because what you want is you want to be surrounded by people who are going to push you, people who are going to encourage you and motivate you, people who believe that you can accomplish what you say you're going to accomplish. The relationships that we have are very important because people can really help us in where we want to go. You can have mentors who are there, who have been where you're trying to be, coaches who can lead you on the way, along the way. I have a coach. Most people who want to do something should have someone like a coach in their corner. Athletes, professional athletes, the best athletes in the world all have coaches because there's value in it. Those are the type of people that you want in your circle. And here's the thing, if you don't like the people that are in your circle and you're not aligned to the right people, then meet some new people. And even if you already have good people in your circle, it's always a great thing to expand your network. Networking is really powerful. I love it when I can network, because when we network, you never know where that can lead. It absolutely could lead to another opportunity, a new partnership or collaboration with somebody. Just recently, I had the privilege of meeting somebody on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great resource. And this young woman was, like me, an educator, or is an educator, and she has skills and abilities that, that I share, and she has experiences that I don't share, and I have experiences that she doesn't share. And so on our first conversation, we realized that we have something that could benefit the other. And so you know what we did? We set an appointment to meet one another in person, because we realized that we could be doing something to help one another. In fact, while I was on that very first conversation with her, one of the things I asked her was, how can I help you? When you help somebody else, other people are always thinking, what's in it for me? Now, of course, we like to think of that too, but if we're thinking about somebody else and what we can do to help somebody else, we can, in the end, help ourselves. It's important that you network and build strong relationships and build new relationships whenever you have the opportunity. I have an opportunity that I want to share with you, an opportunity that will allow you to meet some new people. I am offering you and inviting you to sign up for my Make It Happen e-class. The next class is going to start June 6th. So you can be a part of this class. It's a free class. There's no fee for you to be a part of it, and I would love for you to be a part of it. You can you can open up another window if you like on your computer, and you can type in bit.ly/MIH e-class. The e-class stands for empowerment. In this class, I'm going to empower you to be successful. Again, it's bit.ly/MIH e-class. And when you go and when you join this class, let me tell you, we have had 2 classes so far. So this will be the 3rd class. The people that are in this class are telling me great things. They're telling me that, first of all, it's moving them. It's a 7-week class, so it's moving them from where they have been starting to where they would like to go. They are taking steps towards making it happen in their lives. I want to help you make things happen. I also want to help you meet some new people, because they have found that they have things in common in this class and they can help one another. It's really powerful. It's a powerful experience. Again, go to bit.ly/MIH e-class, and you can be a part of this great experience starting June 6th. Let's go back to the principles, because we're on the 4th principle, and I told you we have 6 power principles. And I hope that you are writing things down and that you are really getting something that is going to help you make things happen in your life. I know you have dreams that you want to fulfill. I know that you want to do some things in your life that's different from where you are right now. So many people in America, in fact, 80% of Americans are dissatisfied with the work that they do on a daily basis. And you might be one of those people. And what I want you to be able to do is to have drive and determination towards reaching your goals and living your dreams. You've got to have an unrelenting commitment to your pursuit. Let me tell you a story. So a few years ago, I decided that I wanted to start running. Now, when I was in high school, a few decades ago, I was in track. And, I was pretty good. I ran the half mile. But it had been decades since I had been out there running. And I decided I wanted to do something to make myself healthier. I wanted to be smaller in frame. I wanted to work on my cholesterol levels. And I knew that if I changed up what I had been doing, then I could probably see progress. The same thing happens in our life, by the way. When we change things up, we can see progress. And so I decided I was going to download a Couch to 5K app. That means I was inactive. I was a little active, but not entirely active. And I was going to get out there and I was going to start running. Okay, so I get out there. You can imagine. I was a little nervous because I was a lot older. I was really out of shape. And I had injuries from a previous car accident. And so I had to first fight those thoughts that were going on in my head. The thoughts that were like, what do you think you're doing? And I got out there and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I was driven to do this because my health depended on it. I start running, and I'm out there. The app tells me to start running. I'm like, ooh, oh my goodness, my legs are burning. I'm out of breath. I'm winded. And I had only gone the distance of one house. Okay, so you know what started happening. The thoughts that I had previously started replaying themselves over and over again in my mind. What do you think you're doing? You're too old for this. You need to go back home. Well, I was only a house away, so it wouldn't have been anything for me to turn around and go back. But I was driven and determined to get out there and run. And so you know what I had to do? I had to combat that negativity, those lies that were replaying themselves over and over in my mind. And I had to discipline myself. By the way, I see discipline as an opposite to procrastination. A lot of times we put things off. Like, I could have put this off, but I decided, I made a decision, and I disciplined myself, and I got out there every single day until eventually I was not only running the length of one house, but I was running 2 houses, and then later 3 houses, and then a mile, and then 2 miles. Can you imagine how exhilarating it was? Because eventually I got to that 3 miles. And I did that 5K, and I ran it without walking from start to finish. It took me a little while, but the discipline is what allowed me to keep going. It was that drive. How badly do you want it is what I would have to ask myself. How badly do you want this? Are you going to commit to it? Because it's important if you want to live a life with purpose. If you want to make things happen in your life, you have to have an unrelenting commitment to whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Just like when I got out there and ran. And you would have thought I had won a marathon. I was so excited. Let's move on to the 5th principle. This principle, not surprisingly, is a pretty common principle where you need to develop a plan. But I think it's really critical here because we're talking about you doing something different in your life. And if you continue to do the things that you've been doing, then you're going to get the same results. So this 5th principle is really powerful. If you're going to take a road trip, for example, say you want to go from Washington, D.C. to California, you're not going to go very far or make a great trip if you don't have a GPS system and if you don't plan your route. As you're planning that route, you're going to know where your milestones are, where you should stop and rest, what you should do to be able to, get more gas and to get food. There are steps that you take as you're journeying across this country. If you don't have a GPS or a map to get you there, you might end up in Texas or in Canada somewhere. And I don't want that to happen to you. So you've got to create a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. You've probably heard that said before. I recommend you do a personal SWOT analysis. A lot of businesses do that, where you're looking at your strengths and your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats. And what that does for you is it helps you understand what your values are. And if you understand your values, then you know what to do to begin the process of creating a plan. And that plan should be strategic. I say start with the end in mind. And in education, we have a concept called backwards design. And that's what I'm saying. When you start with the end in mind, maybe it's 5 years, 3 years, a year, and then you work your way backwards, you can then fill in the milestones that you need to accomplish along the way. Let's talk about the 6th principle, because this is the principle to fight. In the beginning, I told you we're going to fight to make it happen. But sometimes in life, there are things that come and interrupt what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. Think about a boxing ring or boxers in a ring. When I was younger, I used to watch boxing with my dad. Of course, I loved when Sugar Ray Leonard fought because I had a big crush on him. But boxers don't just get in the ring to win a title without preparing themselves. They get out there and they work for months, sometimes years, to prepare themselves to win the big fight. If you don't prepare yourself for what comes in your way, you're not going to be ready for the punches that are going to be thrown. Because here in life, life happens. And in life, you're going to be thrown some punches and some jabs. You're going to get knocked down from time to time. And what are you going to do when that happens? You have to get up and fight. You have to fight for your dreams. Because things are going to get in the way to cause you to want to be derailed and to want to quit and to throw up your hands and give up. But when you fight and you take every single one of the principles that I've shared with you and you combine them all together, then you're going to see the success that you're looking to have. And I also want you to remember your why. Why are you doing it? When we remember our why, it helps us to be able to keep going when the going gets tough. And believe me, when I was sitting on the side of my bed, the going was tough. I had to fight. And you may have to fight as well. Don't give up. Your dreams are depending on it. In fact, the world is depending on you fulfilling your purpose, because your purpose is bigger than you and your purpose is for somebody else. Fight for your dreams. Fight to make it happen. I would love to be able to get in touch with you. I would love to be able to hear from you. I want to connect with you. Go to my website, www.tanyabreland.com. That's tanyabreland.com. You can also email me, tanya@tanyabreland.com. And I've also left my phone number on the screen. www.tanyabreland.com. And of course, I just want to remind you of the other ways that you can get in touch. And I have one extra bonus for you. Text PURPOSE to 27126. Sign up for my Make It Happen e-class at bit.ly/MIH e-class. When you do that, you can be a part of a brand new community of people who are going to help you make it happen in your life. But we can talk one-on-one. I would love to be able to connect with you one-on-one and help you discover your purpose and discover the path that you should take. You can reach out to me and sign up for a free discovery session, 30 minutes one-on-one, you and me, talking, by signing up at bit.ly/TB Discovery, TB for Tanya Breland, bit.ly/TB Discovery, and we can have a 30-minute discussion. Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to get in touch with you. I can't wait for you to make your dreams come true. I cannot wait for you to fight to make it happen, to fulfill your purpose and live your dreams. God bless you.